My name is Robert, and I'm going to be doing that question, which is distinguish between privatization and nationalization. So I'm going to begin right away. Privatization is the transfer. Privatization is the transfer of ownership. Transfer of ownership of public enterprises. From the government to the private individuals. Transfer of ownership of public enterprises from the government to the private individuals. While nationalization is the transfer of ownership. This one refers to the transfer of ownership of now private enterprises, not public enterprises but private enterprises, from the private individuals to the government with or without compensation. Now you have to note that privatization means the government is selling the public enterprises to the private individuals, while nationalization means the government is taking over the ownership of the private enterprises, and it can be with compensation or without compensation. So that's the basic difference between the two. If government decides to sell Mulago Hospital to Kotaki Robert, then that means the government is transferring its ownership from the government to, of course, to Kotaki. That makes the process privatization. While if a private school is being taken over by government, and the government is maybe decided to give some money to the owner, or the government has not decided to give some money, like during the era of Amin, then that is still nationalization. It means nationalization, they are taking over the ownership of private enterprises. So that's the basic difference between those two. Now we have another question which was part B of this same question. You're saying account part B was saying account for the privatization of public enterprises in your country. Account for the privatization of public enterprises in your country. Now, when they say when your question begins with account for, usually they are looking for reasons or causes, and in this particular case they are asking you what are the reasons for the privatization of public enterprises. So the qualifier in this particular case is going to be 2. So you are going to begin your answers with 2. So you say 2, 1, to create more employment opportunities, in the country, and then you, after stating, you explain. And after privatization, the enterprise is called a privatized enterprise. So you say the privatized enterprise or enterprises expand and create more employment opportunities for the people in the country, which helps to improve their standards of living, standards of living. So that's the first point, and that's how you explain that point. To create more employment opportunities in the country, one, and you explain it, you say the privatized enterprises expand and create more employment opportunities for the people, which helps to create more employment opportunities for the people in the country. Then the rest, okay, I can explain one more. To develop more infrastructure in the country. Then you explain and say this is because the privatized enterprises produce more output and which leads to more income, and hence the income is used, or this is used to develop infrastructure which is socioeconomic, like roads, schools, hospitals, among others. Instead of etc, you say among others. So I think you get how to explain this. What you have to note is we are not using the private enterprises, but it becomes a privatized enterprise. If you can take note of that in my explanation and bring it out very well, if you can do that, then you're good to go. So others I'm going to outline. So another one is to generate more government revenue, and of course this is because the privatized enterprises are taxed, and more taxes they are taxed, and this leads to more government revenue, which is used to finance the government budget or the national budget. Then another one would be to promote innovation and inventions in the country. And you explain and say, and this is also because of basically the competition, which drives people to try and become more innovative, and of course this leads to production of more output. And another one would be to promote the development of technology, or to promote technological progress in the country. Of course, the private individuals or the privatized enterprises employ more techniques of better techniques of production to try and produce more output and outcompete their competitors, and that leads to technological progress as well. And they also carry out research. So another one would be to encourage or to encourage the production of high quality products in the country, and that is because of the competition which exists as a result of having privatized enterprise in the country. And another one is to increase the level of resource utilization, that is to utilize more resources in the country, and this is because of the aim of profit maximization by the privatized enterprises, which also helps these people to exploit the idle resources available, and thus lead to economic growth, which is the next point actually, to accelerate the rate of economic growth. And of course this is because of the production of more output by the privatized enterprises, which employ efficient technology, of course leading to more output. More output means more economic growth. Another one would be to encourage the production of a variety of goods or commodities, and this is because the privatized enterprises will tend to differentiate their products to try and access a big share of the market. They produce that variety, and of course this leads to improvement in the standards of living, which should actually another point should be to reduce, of course, income inequalities can apply to reduce income inequalities in the country. And how do you do that? And this is because these privatized enterprises will provide more employment. They provide, actually, don't use will. This is because the privatized enterprises provide more employment opportunities, more income to the people, means more, and the gap between the rich and the poor reduces. And another point could be to promote research in the country, and another one to promote hard work in the country. And so basically you get the view and the approach, how you're supposed to look at. Of course, I have not mentioned other points, but you basically get what I'm talking about. Then this is a very easy question which should not give you any problem at all. So thank you for watching the video, and keep practicing and everything should be okay. You can thank those who are sending in messages asking for questions, and I would like to encourage others who have questions to also send in, and I promise I'm going to try. I have a busy schedule, but I'll try as much as possible to pass through all the questions given to me. So thank you very much, and yeah, see you in the next video.